Hi guys! Welcome to my YouTube channel. So before we get started, make sure to hit the like button, also subscribe to my channel. In this video, we will talk about 7 signs of high blood pressure you should never ignore. Hypertension or high blood pressure is a leading cause of heart attacks, heart failure, strokes, and it is the number 2 cause of kidney failure in the US. Worldwide, over 1 billion people have hypertension, and in the United States, 46% of adults over the age of 20 have high blood pressure. Yet only half of these hypertensive patients have their blood pressure under control. In order to solve a problem, you must first recognize if you have one. So today, I'm going to give you 10 high blood pressure symptoms you should never ignore. What is blood pressure? Blood pressure refers to the force that the blood in your vessels exerts on the walls of your arteries. For your blood pressure measurement, you're probably familiar with the 2 numbers. The top number, or systolic blood pressure, and the bottom number, diastolic blood pressure. The systolic blood pressure refers to the pressure in your vessels when the heart is contracting or squeezing. The diastolic blood pressure refers to the pressure in your vessels when the heart is relaxed. Normal blood pressure numbers. Normal or healthy blood pressure is when that top number is less than 120, and that bottom number, the diastolic, is less than 80. Elevated blood pressure numbers. You have elevated blood pressure if the systolic is between 120 and 129, while the diastolic is still less than 80. Stage 1 and Stage 2 hypertension. You have Stage 1 hypertension if that top number is between 130 and 139, or the diastolic number is between 80 and 89. And you have Stage 2 hypertension if the systolic blood pressure is greater than or equal to 140, and if that diastolic blood pressure is greater than or equal to 90, and then you have a whole hypertensive crisis. If your blood pressure is 180 over 120, please watch my YouTube video on what causes hypertension to learn more. In order to be screened and monitored for hypertension, you should see your physician. High blood pressure symptoms. So now, here are 10 symptoms of high blood pressure you should never ignore. And make sure you pay attention to the last symptom, because it may be the most important. 1. Headache. When you have hypertension, a headache or even pounding in the ears can be a symptom. If you have hypertension, especially if it's very high, you can have elevated pressure pushing against the arteries within your brain. Your brain. This can cause a headache or even a sensation of pounding in the ears. 2. Blurry vision. Blurry vision or change in vision can also be a symptom of hypertension. In your eyes, you have a retina. They're at the back of your eyes, and they have many small blood vessels. When you have very elevated blood pressure, especially chronically, then these vessels can be damaged or compromised, and you can get something called hypertensive retinopathy. These tiny blood vessels in the backs of your eyes can even bleed, and this can lead to blurry vision. You can also have increased pressure in your eyes related to hypertension, which can cause blurry vision. And if the blood flow to the retina happens to be compromised, or even if it stops, then you can actually have a loss of vision. 3. Fatigue. Fatigue or excess tiredness, or even confusion, can be symptoms of high blood pressure for many reasons. When you have hypertension, it can compromise your heart, or the way that your heart pumps blood and oxygen flow to your body. This certainly can cause fatigue. You can also have a compromise of your lungs, or the way that you oxygenate, which again can cause fatigue. And certainly, you can have neurological symptoms related to the high blood pressure, again causing fatigue. 4. Chest pain. Chest pain can certainly be a symptom of hypertension, as hypertension is a leading cause of heart attacks or heart failure. When you have very elevated blood pressure, it can compromise the blood flow to your coronary arteries or your heart arteries, and it can lead to a heart attack or a myocardial infarction. If this happens, well, certainly, you can have chest pain. So chest pain can be a symptom of high blood pressure you don't want to ignore. 5. Weakness. Weakness can certainly be a symptom of high blood pressure, especially if it is a focal weakness. because that could be an indication that you had a stroke or a cerebral vascular accident. Hypertension is the leading cause of strokes, so if you have facial drooping, arm weakness, and/or leg weakness, that could mean that your high blood pressure has led to a stroke or neurological compromise. 6. Shortness of breath. Shortness of breath could be a symptom of high blood pressure for many reasons. You can have shortness of breath due to a heart attack from high blood pressure, shortness of breath due to pulmonary edema or excess fluid in the lungs, which can be related to elevated blood pressure. Also, you can get shortness of breath if hypertension has led to heart failure, which causes an inadequate pumping of the blood and leads to a backup of fluid in the lungs, again, pulmonary edema. So shortness of breath can be a symptom of high blood pressure you should never ignore. 7. Nosebleeds. Albeit rare, a nosebleed can be a symptom of high blood pressure. You have many tiny blood vessels within your nasal airways, and if you have elevated blood pressure, it can damage these vessels, and when that pressure is high, and that force against these arteries is great, it can cause you to have a nosebleed. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. Also subscribe to our channel before you go. Thank you for watching.